Get you up there, get all situated, make sure my wheel is right. All right, hit a little Southern Tides. No. We'll do the Royal. Well, starting the episode with a puff. All right, Scent Crafted. Go buy my samplers. Scent Crafted BSNS. That is my business, my current business that I run with my brothers. I want to get it sent through the moon. So, if anyone ever sees this and they're interested in fragrances, we have lots of nice designer and niche fragrance samplers on there. But enough with the BS. Little advertisement for myself there. Hi, I'm William Fandetti. I am here for another episode of just my journey of becoming successful and living the life that I want to live for myself. I don't want to work for nobody. I don't want to use my college degree. I want to set up a future that works for me. And that works because it rhymes. I always say that if it rhymes, it works, unless it's like something pretty bad. But let me gather myself. Talk about our plan for today. Today, we're going to talk about making your dreams come true. If you want your dreams to come true, then there's going to be some changes that you're going to need to make in your life. And I had to make these changes. I have to make these changes every single day to become a more successful person, a better improved person, and not only that, but a person that I feel like is better than I was yesterday. But in order to do all that, there are also some huge changes that you have to make. And while they can seem maybe daunting, if you take them step by step, I promise it's not that bad. It's a good time, and you need some struggle in your life if you want it to be, have some spice. If you don't want to be worried about, oh, am I going to miss my flight? Oh, does this person like me? No, don't be worried about that stuff. Be worried about okay, can I accomplish my dreams? Is this something that I'm capable of? Can I step up to the plate? Those are big questions. But anyways, enough of the motivational hogwash. I have here on my notebook I picked out 10 changes, 10 large changes that I personally had to make in my life in order to just get here at the beginning of my channel, where I have practically nothing to show for except for my own hard work and grit, some good muscles maybe, and that's really it. I've put in a lot of hard work, physically, mentally, and in my work and in my emotions and in my maturity, my my motivations and disciplines. There's so many different things that I had to make quote unquote improvements. I don't like to call it improvement because I think I'm amazing, but I call it pulling out that greatness. And so here are 10 things that I did to accomplish these goals. And I'm hoping that as I progress through this channel that I'll be able to get a little bit more of a flow going, a little bit I'll be saying less. I'll be doing all these things less, and I'll just be very good. I'll develop a bit of a natural ability to talk on camera. I'm hoping that that's going to arrive, because right now I'm literally just speaking to my wall. It feels a little interesting, but I think I'm doing all right. So I'm going to start off with number one. The first thing that I had to do in order to take my life from really not as good as I would like it to be. Now, I was in incredible circumstances. My parents, they've done very well for themselves. They set me up with a beautiful life, but I was not happy with what I had set myself up with. I was an emotional wreck. I had no stamina in school, no confidence, no discipline, no motivation, nothing. I was just a blob, a human being existing on this planet just for the sake of I don't even know. There was no purpose. There was no reason, and that was my problem. And so in order to turn that around, the first thing that I had to do, step one, is put myself first. And I know that might sound crazy and selfish, but I like to create a scenario in everybody's mind. And I tell this to almost all of my friends, and most of them listen and they already know it, but some of them don't and they need to hear it. But putting yourself first is just like this in this scenario. If you have ever flown in an airplane before, and some of you definitely haven't, some of you definitely have a million times. It really depends on what you're doing. Like my dad, he flies to New York a lot for work, and so I've had the luxury of going on planes many times. And so in that process, being on the plane. Whenever you're on the plane, they set you up and they have to go over some safety procedures. And one of the things that they tell you, and they don't always say it, but it's in the notebook there in front of you, is in the case of an emergency, air mask is going to fall out for you and the person in the seat or seats next to you. What you're supposed to do is, before you help the person next to you get their mask on, and you're up in the atmosphere, there's very little oxygen, so you could pass out any moment. If instead of helping the person next to you because they can't get their mask on, and then you guys both pass out due to lack of oxygen in the process, now you're both screwed. Instead of doing that, you should put your own mask on first so that you know, okay, I'm not going to pass out. I'm now in a position where I can help this person without negatively affecting me, which is then going to even negatively affect them. Because if I had put on the mask in the first place, then they would have had their mask on too, thanks to my help, instead of me passing out. And so what I mean in this scenario is that you are always more fit to help others once you have helped yourself. So it's not selfish. It's not like, oh, put me first. I prioritize me. Because there's going to be the day where you have to put others first. But this isn't that day. This is the day where you're trying to improve your own life. You're not going to do that by helping other people. I mean, it's hard, but it's true. And so the day where you can help a lot, exponentially more people than you ever could have helped in your life, is when you take your own ability to make change from here to here. And in order to do that, you have to help yourself. It's a personal investment that's going to pay off to not only you, but the people that you share this planet with. Hopefully, that's the whole idea. And so, whether or not you're here for selfish reasons or for other people, you're here for one other person, you're trying to get your life better and you're trying to set yourself up, maybe make some money so you can help people, the first thing that you need to do is focus on yourself a little bit and say, hey, I'm not going to get any of this stuff done unless I'm making sure that I am the most productive, or maybe not even the most, but I am heading in the direction of the most productive and well-behaved, well-motivated, well-disciplined individual that I can possibly be. And so that would be my first point, like first key to success. Number 2, thinking positively. I cannot stress how important it is to think positively. The amount of times in my life, and especially in school, because I mentioned this in my previous video, I've had lots of issues in school in the past. I have dyslexia, ADHD, who knows what else, but the point I'm making is that I've had plenty of struggles in school that have made my path a little different from other people. And one of those things that I had to do to turn all that around, obviously there was a bunch, like building my stamina in school and blah, 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 or whatnot. One of the things that I had to do was have a more positive attitude, because my negative attitude that had been shaped by the people around me in my environment had caused me to have a negative outlook on my entire life and my entire ability to function as a human being and as a member of society even. I remembered, I was like, I'm a freak in school. Like I sit in the back of the class and I dictate into this computer to write my story while the entire class is trying to quietly write next to me, and they're looking at me like, what the hell is this dude's problem? And they're like, no, Will, this is normal. This is who you are. This is what you're supposed to do. And so next thing you know it, when I'm in public, I have no problem being a disturbance. And that turns out is a huge problem. And I had built the habit of being okay with being the oddball out, but not for the good reasons, because it's good to be unique. And as an outcome, diversity is very important. It's very crucial. Like you see America today, we have so much diversity, and that's why we're a thriving country. And obviously, you only want to have a certain amount of diversity. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but end of the day, we all want to be human beings. We all want to be caring. We all want to be kind. And so those are all consistencies in diversities, in inequalities that we are supposed to be. But like, you wouldn't want one person to be more good than you. You want everybody else to be good. But there's other unique diversities that are very important. And so you don't want to be having these bad diversities that are making you act negatively, because that's going to give you a negative opinion of your own self. But if you have these positive diversities that are affecting you positively and that those around you positively, then that is great. And that's a good type of weirdness that I totally support. Like anime, I think there's a lot of good. And there's some bad, I think, because anime is just a cartoon reflection of life. So all the bad in life is reflected in it, and all the good in life is reflected in it. But some could say it's quite strange. And so I totally understand that. But I think for the most part that I use it as a tool to extract positivity. And so that would be a good thing. And going back to circling it all in, thinking positively is the most important step, because if you want to think positively and behave negatively, it's not going to work. And so if you're thinking positively and you're trying your best, okay, I'm thinking positive as much as I can, you're going to realize that you're just a more positive person. You're just a more happy person per se, or maybe not even happy, but you're just a more on track person. You know what I mean? Like, you may not be happy per se, the happiness that you're exactly looking for, but on a daily basis, you're not going to be angry and upset. You're not going to be negative. You're going to be positive, and that's a good thing. And so that's why I think that's very good. My next point was a hard one for me. And everybody, even myself, still struggles with this on a daily basis, and that's to don't abuse substances. You know what I mean? Like, if you're looking to make a positive change in your life, then that's not abusing substances isn't a good place to start. That's actually like kind of counterproductive, counterintuitive. And this is going to be a brief one because I think it's very self-explanatory. I don't think that there's a lot that I can teach somebody when it comes to quitting a substance, other than you need to orient your life in a way that does not involve that thing. And so, like, if you have a drinking problem, if you have a smoking problem, if you have a gambling problem, you're not going to just go, okay, I'm done with that thing, all right? I'm done with that. We're not doing that anymore. No, you need to orient your life in a way that is pointed away from it. And so, like, for example, I was a vapor. Like, I'm in the generation that got on vapes in high school, and I just think it's terrible. I mean, it's going to give all of us cancer. It's just a terrible thing. Our generation is like very, very possibly screwed on that. And I recently quit, and the way that I quit was by turning around my environment. And so I got rid of everything in the house. The habits that have caused me to want to vape, I have replaced with something else. So if I want to hit that vape, I'm gonna grab a bite to eat. And if I am relaxed on a Friday evening or a Saturday night and I want to hit the vape, I might hit the pen or something else. I mean, like, and I don't really want to be open about that stuff, because that's like that stuff is, it's not, this is a business account and I'm here for business. And so I don't want to be supporting anything like that at all. I want to be strictly professional. But the point that I'm making is that whatever your substance is, whatever your battle, your climb, the thing that you abuse, you need to orient your life away from that, or else you're not going to really achieve your goals. I mean, you will. Like, you're not going to, quitting vaping is not going to stop you from becoming rich, but the idea of something tangible and physical holding you back from anything else is very strong. Not to mention that it's just not good for you. Like, 90% of these things that we're addicted to are just not good for us. And so that's another thing to keep in mind. But I'll leave it at that. The next thing is changing your self-image. And this is a hard one because people are like, okay, A, I don't want to change my self-image because I'm me. I'm supposed to be me. And B, I feel like that's going to be pretty tricky. And so to point A, be you, be yourself, be that person. That person's not going to change, but the image of that person can change. So if I'm a great person and I'm beating puppies, maybe I'm a great person, but the image is not there at all. And whatever is leading me to do that, maybe I'm saving all of humanity by beating these puppies. And like, nobody knows, but that's the fact of the matter, is that your own image, and obviously in that scenario you would know that you're doing this, and so you would maybe appreciate yourself. But in the scenario that I'm setting, if you know that it's good to be you, but let's say you're depressed and you don't feel right being you, that's gonna be like a push and pull that's not really gonna work. And so I think that the thing that's so tricky about changing your self-image is that you have to keep being you while accepting that the you that you are presenting may not be entirely in line with that, and that there are some things that you can do to change that. Now, if you do want to change your self-image, it's not as simple as just looking in the mirror differently. Like, that's not gonna happen. I can tell you that now. That's not gonna happen. If you're a buffoon and you know you're a buffoon, you're not magically gonna look in the mirror one day and be like, all right, I'm not a buffoon. I was tripping the whole time, G. You know what I mean? Like, I got this shit. I'm plugged in. But that's not gonna happen. But what you can do is, and avoiding this scenario, what you can do is take steps to positively affect your life, and that is in turn going to positively affect your self-image. So what I mean by this is step 1, putting yourself first. Step 2, thinking positively. Step 3, not abusing substances. These are all things that you need to be doing before you can change your self-image. So that's why I put it a little bit lower on the list, is because literally it's these other things on the list are prerequisites. Like, you need to be improving yourself if you want that image that you and others have of yourself to change. So that's pretty simple. I'm not going to go too deep into that one. Next one is super important, and I have a story that comes with this, and that is to spend time alone. Not only do the greatest minds like Jordan Peterson always say, like, lock yourself in a room, don't put your phone in it, just be in the room, sit there and think with yourself, like, am I who I am? Like, am I who I am? Am I doing what I want to be doing? Am I where I want to be? And instantly you're going to answer those questions because there's no distractions around you. And so your mind's going to start wanting to answer them naturally. It's entertaining, to say the least. And so you always want to put yourself in positions where you can be alone. And if you find yourself in a life where you're struggling to be alone, like there were times in my life where literally in high school, I would be sitting at home, getting ready for school the next day, and I was just like, I can't be here, like I need to be with my friends. And so I would like call them, but if none of them answered, I would just like literally leave my house and go find my friends, or make up some excuse for needing to see this friend so that they would come see me, and like a bunch of BS like that. And I learned that it was very self-destructive, and that I was doing these things to avoid parts of my life that I wasn't comfortable with. And so the story is that when I was in high school, my parents moved, and my whole family moved to a new town, and I didn't want to. And so I was like, and I had troubles with my family at the time. Now we're great, but I was like, I'm good. I'm not staying with you guys. I'm actually going to go move to Virginia, live on a farm with this one friend that I'm not, like, we were boys, but I'm not like super insanely close with. Like, we don't nearly talk every day. And I went and I did it, and it was insane. Like, I hung out with goats all day. This dude barely talked to me. Like, for the first part of the trip, we hung out all the time. I literally was in his room, and we hung out all the time. He had cool friends and stuff, but as it went by a little bit more, like, we didn't really click, and so we started spreading a little bit. His sister moved out, and I went into her room and moved into her room, and so we had our own rooms. We weren't really interacting with each other a lot, and so at this point, I'm literally alone. Like, I talk to his mom sometimes to help around the house, and that's about it. And I hang out with the goats. But other than that, I'm entirely alone. And in that time, I decided that I wanted to go from working at a gas station for the rest of my life to maybe wanting to make something out of myself, to thinking, okay, well, if I'm doing all this, why don't I put a step further, because I don't want to work for people and stuff. Why don't I try and make like an actual like successful business? And then after realizing that I would love to make a successful business, I realized like, oh, look at this beautiful life that would come with making a successful business. And then I wanted that. And then I'm like, okay, I want to be able to give maybe a wife and a family this kind of successful and awesome living. And so as I'm sitting here completely alone, just imagining what my life could be, I start to put together puzzle pieces of like, holy crap, like I've never even realized, I haven't taken the time to think that I would love this more than anything else that I've already planned. And so And this is compared to working at a gas station. Like, I had no idea what I was thinking. And so, anyways, point being, spend time alone, because you're going to realize things about yourself that you literally never would have ever come to realize. And I'm not talking alone like, oh, just me and the internet, maybe I'll play some video games. Dude, I'm talking you and a garden, you and a chicken coop, you and the woods. Go out, or you in an empty room. Like, go into isolation with nothing but you and your own mind and have a conversation and continue to do it. And if that's too scary, then success is going to be hard. I mean, I'm a positive guy. I'm an optimist, and so pave your own way. But if you can't sit and talk to yourself and say, hey, what do I want, without getting overwhelmed and scared, then I, in my own opinion, feel like there's some steps that you need to take before you're even ready for moving in that direction. But that's just me. I don't like being discouraging. So you do your own thing. Prove me wrong. Next, let's move on from spending time alone. Super important. This one I want to talk about importantly, and specifically, cutting off toxic people. So I've seen videos that go back and forth. I've seen some videos where people are like, okay, cut off bad people around you. How happy were you when you stopped talking to your day ones? Oh, so happy. That's hilarious. Yeah, because they're pieces of shit, whatever. I've seen so much shit about that. I've seen so much shit about, like, oh, if you hang out around 5 billionaires, you'll be the 6th. You always want to be hanging out with people that you feel like are better than you. And then I hear the other side of it, like, oh, you're a fucking, or pardon my French, you're an idiot for doing that. Like what kind of a clown would spend all of their time doing all that shit? Like, you're leeching off of those people. Who's gonna switch up on your day one? So what, they have issues. They've always been there for you. Like, I've heard both sides of this story, and here's my genuine thought. If you feel like the person is toxic, then they're not a good friend, and they're not your day one. They're just some dude that's happened to be there since day one, but they're not your friend. And if they're not toxic and you feel like you can maintain a good relationship without them having expectations for who they want you to be, then that's great. Send it. And by expectations of who they want you to be, I mean that, who they want you, but not how to be it, because everyone's going to have expectations of how they want you to be who you are. But if they want you to be someone who you feel like you're not, toxic, just get the fuck out of here. And that's my honest opinion. Sorry for the French again. I'm in the Vine generation, so it hits me sometimes like a truck. But yeah, cut off toxic people. It does not mean cutting off your day ones. It just means that if they are toxic, then they never were your day ones. Moving on. Next item on the list. Let's see. We're down. We're through the list a good bit. Oh, easy one. Shout out Jordan Peterson. He's not dead, but I just love him. He's a saint. So clean your room. Make your bed. Pick up after yourself. A healthy room is a healthy mind. If you can get in the routine of making your own bed, make your damn bed every morning, and then maybe for one moment you'll have an opportunity, to make your life a little bit better, because if your mind's not messy and your bed's not messy, and that's working together and going and making it. Anyways, that's Jordan Peterson. If you didn't know, that's what he genuinely sounds like. But if you are making your bed, you are going to be making your mind. You're going to be setting yourself up for a standard that you can then hold the rest of your day accountable to. You can say, I made my bed today. I'm not like, oh, I don't want to do the dishes. Oh, but I already made my bed. So I'm having a good day. I might as well keep going. And then I did the dishes, I made my bed. I'm going to do my homework on time tonight. And then next thing you know, you have an extra half hour of free time in the afternoon, and you're like, okay, this is dope. And it's like, oh, I don't want to be like trading half hours of free time at the end of the night. Go get a 9 to 5. Go get your college degree, work hard and do that, and have your schedule and whatever. I don't know. Just if you want to have a fulfilling, because no, I don't want to say fulfilling, because you can be fulfilled from a 9 to 5, you can be fulfilled from an office job. It just depends on the person. But if you're here and you really do want this cool life of outlandish freedom and like freedom of expression, freedom of creation, freedom financially, like if you want all of these things, then you gotta stick with the program. You know what I mean? You gotta be consistent. You gotta be trading half hours here and there so that you can improve overall as a person. That's just my honest opinion. Moving on to the next point. Right. I wrote this on a real journal and this real journal has lots of stuff in it, and I have lots of other very real journals with lots of other very real stuff in it. Like, the list will go on and on and on and on. Write down your thoughts. Not because you enjoy doing it. I hate writing. I genuinely do not, hate's a strong word, but I just dislike the living crap out of it. But if you can write down your thoughts and genuinely get it out there, then you are going to improve. Like, you're going to have a better understanding for yourself. You're going to have a better understanding of your own thought process. You're going to have a better understanding of yourself as a human being. And when the day comes that you're a G and you've been super successful, all this stuff is here. You know what I mean? And people can look back at it and put it in museums or whatnot, if that does happen. But yeah, write stuff down. Not only that, if you have a valid idea and you feel like that idea is not being remembered, or you feel like, I don't know, like I don't know, like I don't remember that idea, or I feel like I'm gonna forget that idea, write it down. Just write it down. It doesn't have to be in depth. It just has to be like a brief little summary, and then it'll pull out that memory for you. But just write stuff down. Not only that, but the physical motion. So if you have a thought, having the thought has some level of significance to you. But then having the thought twice has more significance to you. And then having the thought enough to where you would speak it, that means it has so much significance to you. That's why singing certain lyrics may not be the best idea for you if you don't appreciate that stuff. Like I don't want to sing bad stuff if I don't know, personal opinion of mine. I'm getting on a tangent. Where was I? I did it once, I'll do it again. I'm so sorry, you guys. I lost my train of thought. I will try and get better at that. I really will. This is my second video. I've never literally on YouTube once seen somebody like lose their train of thought and just roll with it and then post it and not cut it out. But I don't really do the whole like editing and posting stuff or anything. And so, sorry, lost my train of thought. Anyways, talk to yourself. Give yourself pep talks, you know. Anyways, writing is super important. But the next point being, talk to yourself. Give yourself pep talks. I sit in the car. I was in a sales job, so I was in a very competitive residential solar panel sales job. I was a sales consultant. I would go into people's homes and I would try and convince them to move forward with pre-qualifying their house for solar installation so that they could eventually pay $0 for their energy bill. And we would sit and we'd talk about that and we would set it up. But it was very stressful. I would be in the home for up to 5 hours at times. It was normally like 2 to 3 hours if they sold. If they didn't sell, it's a half hour, 10 minutes, who knows? But it depends on when you know they're not gonna buy it. But anyways, in that job, I would get super stressed out, and I would be like getting ready to knock on this person's door, like mentally quivering because of like, okay, am I gonna be here for 10 minutes or am I gonna be here for 6 hours? Like what's gonna happen? And I just like, it's a lot of unsurety, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of room for negative thought. And so what I would do is in the 2-hour drive or hour-long drive to the client's house, I would hype the ever-living shit out of myself. I would hype myself up so much. Sorry, there's kids in the pool outside. I'm just gonna call it that. I would hype myself up so much. I'd be in the car and I would just be like, you're an absolute dog. Like I'm out here living the life that I want. I'm doing the things that I want to do. I'm out here being like a sales G. I'm closing deals. I'm outperforming my veteran coworkers. I am 19 years old. Like I was going crazy at the time, just gassing myself up for no reason. Like just hyped up. Well, and it was for a reason. I was G. I was doing all those things at the time. But I try to be humble. I don't do those things outside. Like, I'm not walking around like, yeah, I'm better than everyone else. I do that in the privacy of your own vehicle when you're driving and nobody else can hear you, and they might just see you freaking out through the window and think you're a weirdo. But sit in that car and just literally praise yourself, because why not? That's that. Now, for my final point, let's see. This is a good one. This is a hard one. Honestly, this might be the hardest point. It's something that I still struggle with severely. And so if you guys are out there and you want to link up, just let me know, leave a comment or something. If I approve, I might send you a message back. But find people who you feel like are good for you and want what's best for you. And I think that this is a very important thing. If you're not out there striving to surround yourself with people who want you to have $1 billion, they want you to be the most successful person in the world. No, not those things. Like, they want you to be who you want to be. They want you to be a good, hardworking, genuine person. I think the more that you find people in your life like that, the more beautiful it's going to be. And then when you click and you get along really well and you're on the floor peeing your pants out of laughter because of some dumb shit you just did, then that's an even greater plus, and that's a best friend. But the people you keep in your life have that standard of like, are you good for me? Do you want what's best for me? We gotta figure these things out before we're gonna be friends. You know what I mean? But anyways, I say anyways so much. I say so much. I say like so much. I'm working on it. So in the next videos, it will become better. But those are my 10 things. That's it. That's 10 things that I feel like have 10 changes that I made to my life that have played a very influential role and I made a very exponential amount of change to my life for the better. I just feel like there's so many different versions of these rules that you can make for yourself. So it might be different for you than it is for me. But this is what I, in 5 minutes, wrote down as just things that changed my life for the better. And I also want to close this video off on the note that I literally made this in 5 minutes. And these 5 minutes of writing 10 lines on a page gave me enough to talk about to sit here and make this entire video. Keep that in mind. So if you ever have 5 minutes to just sit down and write some stuff down in a book, then you might very well be giving yourself the opportunity, motivation, and positioning to be posting. I haven't seen how long this video is, but however long. You know what I mean? And I intend to keep doing that. That's exactly how I'm going to be here. But anyways, I'm going to leave it off with you guys. Much love. That's the heart symbol. I'll probably keep explaining it for a few videos. It makes literally the shape of a heart with the 2 veins coming out. But eventually, hopefully, you guys will just know. But much love. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you. Drifting. Should I do a drifting video? I feel like I have to. I'm going to have to move my camera.